Yeah, greetings and the best of salutations. That would be prayer, power, peace, patience, and prosperity, and all of that which either encompasses or embodies that which we give praise for life and all existence of life. Just want to deal a little bit about war, conflict, war and conflict. It is known that, or not known, but I've come to know that the art of war teaches that strategy without tactics is the slowest route to victory. Tactics without strategy is the noise before defeat. The strategy is the the plan of action. The tactic is the steps that one make to make it happen. The implementation, implementing something. Economic activities and military programs determine the dominant decision made within the halls of Congress. Conference, then the Congress, that which comes together more has more international or international impact or effect when it's politically, when it comes to be considered to be a Congress. Dr. Du Bois would know that when he deal with Pan Africanism, he changed it from conference to Congress, get more attention that way. War and conflict. Personally, I don't know anything about any physical war when it comes to armament, weapons of mass destruction, or being on the battlefield. Where there is bloodshed. What I'm realizing, man, that there is something that is very miscued, misunderstood, misled, misguided when it comes to talking about war and even conflict. I look in conflict as the word con and a flick as an image. Trying to con the image of how a person see themselves and how a person wants you to be seen. And then that could lead to a war. I've said that the battlegrounds are ideological and the war is psychological. In the the um, 19, early 1900s, there was a guy by the name of Henry Herbert Harrison. And he said something. He says, wars are like a disguise. It disguises itself as something that it is not, and it justifies its activity. Paraphrasing what he said. He says that wars are not fought for ideals, but for lands whose populations can be put to work, for resources that can be minted into millions, for trade can be made to enrich the privileged few. There are wars. He goes on to say, and also when nations go to war, they never openly declare what they want. They must camouflage their greed behind some sounding phrase like freedom of seas, self-determination, liberty, or democracy. But only the ignorant millions ever think that those who are real objects of their bloody rivalries, when the war is over, the masses drop, and then they seek how to best scramble at the shares feast. It is then that they disclose their real war aims. War and conflict. Where's the justification in going to war? You want to protect your family. You want to protect your property. You want to defend your way of life. There's a term in Islam called fitna. There will be no aggression except against the oppressors and not against one another, because that which is oppressing us is ignorance. Fight until there is no more fitna, until worship is acknowledged to be for Allah. This is Islamic term. But if they cease, there is to be no aggression except against oppression, or that which is oppressing you or I. It's ignorance. Ignorance is the result of hostility, as if there's nothing else to be learned. Dr. Francis Wells Wilson speaks of what makes one obsessed with being aggressive is due to deep-seated feelings of inadequacy and insecurity. Taken from my book, Mental Constellation. Let's go back, because that which is oppressing us is ignorance. There will be no aggression except against the oppressors and not against one another. That, when it comes to war, may we learn to fight against oppressing each other. Because in any society, in any group of people, you can just about get what you want if you just work together. The question is, what is the intentions behind it? That's the challenge. What is one's intention? And once we understand one's intentions, we will see that it is judged by the actions that one takes. war, conflict. Better yet, let's resolve the confusion that the internal conflict will extend itself externally if there is inter-conflict one with another. You want to minimize the intra-conflict with one another. And so you may go out and do harm to others. Remember, there will be no aggression except against the oppressors and not against one another. War should be designed in the implementation and the application of it to eliminate and eradicate oppression. Political manipulation, economic exploitation, religious misindoctrination, social manipulation. That is what is oppressing. Once again, political manipulation, economic exploitation, religious misindoctrination, and social manipulation. And that which we should not misuse our knowledge, our faculties, the use of our limbs to oppress each other, keep us ignorant, to keep people ignorant. Dr. King said there is nothing more dangerous than sincere ignorance, and conscientious stupidity. War, conflict, and confusion. In the words of either Socrates or Plato, one of the two, the world would be better, the youth would be better if it was just, one corrupter in the world rather than many corruptors who have corrupted the minds, and their minds are corrupt, that they have contaminated the people with such poison that we will, by the elite of political officials, religious leaders, and possibly some educators, that we join forces with those few who have the resources and the means from war, that will take the strongest from the community of thinkers And those who mean well will take them and use them and leverage them as their resources to come on their side, whereas the intellect and the minds of the people become weak. And they will be left to fend for themselves. In doing so, there will be scarcity that is left. And they will fight over those that remain in the community. And will befriend them